Welcome to Saving America. This is your host, Dr. David D. Shine. The Democrat National Convention, my opinion, a total waste of time and space. So what does Trump need to do? Trump needs to get on message and stay on message. As my regular audience knows, I'm a hardcore conservative, not a Trumpster. However, given the far left Harris-Walz ticket, it is not an especially hard choice. Regarding Trump's first term, he had good economic policies. He often comes off as a jerk, and that is hard to fix. I haven't come up with a solution yet. I've been trying to communicate with him, but for some reason, it doesn't seem to be working. He also did a miserable job of picking his staff and who he held over from the failed Obama administration. In a recent speech, Trump explained that he was new to D.C. in 2017, and that while he picked some good staff people, he admits he picked a bunch of losers as well. And he is saying, I'm now familiar with the game, and I will do better this time. I believe him. His loss in 2020 can easily be attributed to the COVID pandemic. The Biden-Harris administration actually did worse with COVID, but voters did not know that when they voted in November 2020. It does remind me of the short recession America experienced in 1992. Americans voted for the unknown and truly unqualified Bill Clinton over George H.W. Bush. The facts are that America was on the way out of that recession when the election took place. So Clinton got to bask in glory of a winning economy during his administration that Bush actually had laid the groundwork for. So what does Trump need to do? He needs to compare each of his successful policies with the Biden-Harris failures, and especially the border, where Harris was the czar. As I've mentioned, she's trying to work her way out of that, but there's far too much legacy there for her to deny that. The economy's got to be number one. Americans were better off 4 years ago than they are today. That is easy and should be center focus of every speech. Just in time for the election sprint, the U.S. Department of Labor just adjusted the jobs data for March 23 to March 24. They reduced the total number of jobs downward by 818,000. Yes, nearly 1 million people less on the work rolls. This is huge. And as Trump justifiably has claimed, much of the hiring under Biden-Harris was just putting people back to work who were laid off due to the COVID dip. Now, Trump is also claiming a lot of illegals now have some of those new jobs. I do not think that's true, but if he has real data, I think he needs to show the voters. The uncontrolled border is number two. Harris was unquestionably named the border czar and was an absolute failure. Hammer that over and over again. After all, she would not be lying about her title now if she had had any success at all. Number three, crime is a major factor for most Americans. Harris was soft on crime before getting to the VP slot. She actually tried to raise bail money for people arrested for violence in Minneapolis. How ridiculous. She advocated for no gas bail when she was the California Attorney General. Of course, there's been a major crime wave by illegals in this country. The list goes on and on. No need to repeat it here. Some say, well, there's always crime. Right, but this is in addition crime that would not be committed if these people were not let into the country. Further, as Trump has pointed out, many of the more recent batch of illegals under the Biden-Harris administration were released from prisons and asylums in their home countries. Number four is international weakness under the Biden-Harris situation, which has emboldened America's enemies. Russia would likely not have invaded Ukraine under Trump. Further, the soft on Iran policies have allowed Iran to rake in billions of dollars. This has been used to fund proxies who attack Israel from all sides. It is hard to say if October 7th would have happened under Trump. However, it would have been more difficult with a weaker Iran behind those terrorists. Many of the weapons and missiles being used by the terrorists are directly provided by Iran. That's not really a controversial issue. The recent report is that Hamas has named Yahya Sinwar, who is credited with planning October 7th atrocities, as its head. This ties Iran directly to Hamas. Reports are that Iran will likely have a working atomic bomb by the end of this year. The world has become more dangerous under Biden and Harris. Trump has mentioned finally punishing the military leaders who failed America in Afghanistan. He has also promised to get DEI and wokeness out of the military. I am strongly in support of this. Such silly policy has no place in the military in such a dangerous world. Time for America's military to unquestionably be number one in the world, and that means peace in the world. Number 5 is a Harris flip-flop on fracking. She has been consistently against it. Lately, her campaign, not her personally, have claimed that she is now okay with it. Let's believe her prior position and make sure the voters, especially in Pennsylvania, which is dependent on fracking, know this. America's energy independence is part of its security. Also, Americans are paying almost double for gasoline and electricity than they did under Trump. This is something that can help with putting those numbers up in lights. Number 6 in the Shine platform proposal for Trump is education. Creeping socialism with DEI and woke approaches has trashed K through 12 and many college educations. I am a professor who can directly state that our K-12 system is not doing its job. Our students are far behind the rest of the world, especially in major Democrat-controlled cities. The tide is already changing as parents revolt. More homeschooling, more private schooling. This is a good time for Trump to track that movement and support it. More esoteric is the Biden-Harris administration's attack on the current justices on the Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS. Most Americans are generally happy with the latest rulings of the High Court. I would just mention that Trump's remarkable 3 appointments in one term has saved a number of American values. Regarding abortion, best left to the states, and that allows the Trump-Vance team to keep that out of their program. This is Dr. David D. Shine for Saving America. Please subscribe on your favorite platform.